Hello, welcome to this Kroxylicious community call on the 18th of June, 2026. Okay, so I am sharing, we have got one guest. So I'm sharing the agenda. Please add any agenda items you wish to discuss. Interview agenda, I pinned a link to the editable agenda into this chat, into the Google Meet chat. So please find it there. Add your name to the attendees as you arrive, please. Okay, with that, let's get going. So let me just get rid of those two. And on with the first action. So who added this, and do you want to lead that conversation?
Yeah, this was me. So we've got these project boards, which are supposed to help us coordinate the sort of what we want in each release. And the one for the upcoming releases sort of was out of sync. It looks like there's some stuff in there that looks good now. Like that, I don't think the Tala's Cipher Trust was in there before. But yeah, I guess we haven't had anything attached there for hot reload or other bits of work that have been going on. Probably the routing API is not represented here. So yeah, it's just a question about how we keep it in sync, I suppose.
Any thoughts on that, anyone?
Yeah, hot reload's an interesting one. We had a bunch of issues that we've done, but none of them were really kind of covered the overarching goal of making it work, which is what you'd really want to see on the release board. You know, there's been 9 PRs. I think there was 6 or 8 issues. And while they all build towards a cohesive whole, it could have been a bit strange to have all of them flowing through. But equally, we should have just tagged them all into the release anyway. So no.
Yeah, I think if you put them on if you put the milestone on them, they should automatically show up somewhere in this board. I think it's somewhere.
I'll go do that now then.
Yeah, I think we should have all the work that we're actively working on for a release on the board. I think the idea of giving visibility to things, the idea behind the blocked column, if we're not rigorous with that, we don't get the value from the release board that we intended. So my takeaway from this is to be more diligent about that and endeavor to make sure that things, the release board stays current. I think others should do the same. Anything else? Do you want to talk through what's on here at the moment? Would that be a useful use of time, or should we just move on with the next agenda item?
Just a quick question for me from the wants to do column. Are we actually planning to do any of them?
So I think we should drop the desire to do HashiCorp Vault for this release and maybe pop that into the next release instead. I think there's probably enough on that's unrealistic. I do think switching the compilation target to Java 21 would be a good thing to do for this release. Peter did some prep for that a couple of releases ago, so there shouldn't be a huge amount of work to do to actually make that switch and to bring us into this decade. I don't know what others think.
That sounds like a reasonable balance to me, yes. Be good to get us onto Java 21. It's been a couple of times recently.
Okay. So I will remove from project. Try to. Okay, is there any of these want to discuss expose HA proxy protocol information to filters? Is that something we were still wanting to do for this release?
And is it realistic to even think about doing it for the 22 release?
I think I would say no.
I mean, to be clear, it's still something we ought to do, but I don't think it.
Yeah.
There's no need for it to be in 0.22, and so let's just take it out of the release, and unless somebody wants to shout for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, likewise, at this point, I don't think any of the ones that I'm assigned to, either in the want to do or the must do column, are actually going to happen for 0.22, rightly or wrongly. So we might as well remove those.
And we're not planning the Kafka 4.3 upgrade in the next release, are we? Because that's got the package move, so that needs.
That's right.
We need a bit more baking.
Okay, so sounds like the Kroxylicious 1.0 design is going out. And reworking points config. Come on. Okay, so is that a more realistic look for the board? I know that people have got things they're working on at the moment which need to go onto the board, but has that at least got rid of the things on the board that we're not planning on doing for the 0.22 release?
Well, it looks much healthier.
Okay, so the ask there is go put things on the board which you know you're working on at the moment and need to go into 0.22. Okay, so let's go back to.
And an easy way to do that is to set the milestone on the pull request or issue. It'll automatically shuffle onto the board somewhere.
Correct. Okay, so next agenda discussion point, the 0.20.1 release request. Does somebody want to talk about this one?
Yep, that was also mine. So yeah, recently I emailed the dev list saying something along the lines of we want CVE fixes added to 0.20.0 because we have some, downstream thing hanging off it. I was kind of thinking, if I was some other third party, not totally invested in the project, how would I ask for a CVE fix? We don't have like support for these old versions or anything like that. We're fully open source, so it was kind of a question of what should we require of people requesting these things? Is there any criteria? It's all best effort. I just want to make sure that we don't favor a vendor or have some completely intransparent process where little releases just pop up out of nowhere with CV fixes.
I would assume that if any upstream contributor wants to do a release, they should at least provide a PR with whatever fix they want to apply for this. I think we should restrict it to security fixes and/or bugs that were not detected. I don't think it's appropriate to put any sort of feature enhancements in these sort of upstream releases and backpatching. I think that'll be a unsustainable practice. But I don't see why we would refuse if people provide a PR. I guess the only question is about releases and pushing them out to Maven or wherever. I think we just need to standardize what sort of release that would get us to do, because obviously that will be a time commitment for whoever does it.
That was kind of what I was thinking. Maintainer. If they come in an email or Slack or something and say, look, we're happy to run the release branch and coordinate it. If you create the branch for us and press the button when it's all ready, we'll manage, backporting the CVEs and that sort of thing. Then that's kind of, the community helping get it done.
Yeah, I think it's a nice compromise.
Sorry, Sam.
Sorry. I think it's a nice compromise. If we'll, as maintainers, as a project committee, whatever, we're happy to create a release branch if there's demand. It's CV fixes. It's CV fixes in our direct dependencies. We're not talking about image respins or anything like that. And we'll backport fixes that are identified on a case-by-case basis, I think. But it's on the burden of effort is on the person looking at the team group, whatever word I want, describing the people doing the contribution, who want the backport to be available. It's on them to do it, and then it's kind of still a case-by-case basis. So we're not going to do a 0.21 this week and then a 0.20.2 next week, short of some screaming dumpster fire of release sort of thing. But
yeah, so we're basically going to make no commitment around the amount of time before the request and actually doing the release process, because we can't commit our future time because we don't know what we'll be doing. But best efforts will apply and it won't be ignored.
Yes. And if our release process, I don't entirely follow the distinction you're trying to make about where the release goes, because it's a fully automated pipeline. When you hit go, it goes to Maven Central, it goes to Key, it goes to wherever it needs to go. There's not manual intervention for a lot of that stuff. So, and I think that's the right model. I don't think we should have some way where you can just get jars on Maven Central but no images. And
that's fine.
It's all things delivered.
Yeah.
And if that gets hard, we improve the automation.
Yeah. We press a standard button. Yes, that's fine.
Kroxylicious, one size fits all.
Yes.
Do we want to write this up somewhere in one of our, I can't think off the top of my head which document this process might belong in, but do we want to transcribe the essence of what we've described here and put it into a couple of sentences?
Yes, I think that's the right idea. It might just live on the release page, because we've got a page publishing dates for major like 0.22 and 0.23, etc. And maybe it's just a note on there that suggests that if you have some burning desire for a CVE-based backport or a backport of any prescription, here's our criteria for considering it. All
Sam, was that you
requests.
volunteering to write those words?
Sure.
Sounds like it to me. Yeah.
You came up with the idea, so
Yeah, it's called delegation. I put the ideas out there and hope somebody else takes them. No? Okay.
If we get back to 1.0 discussion sometime, I'm pretty sure we had defined sort of ideas about what we would release. So it would just be like a little extra added there as well.
A pre-addendum, yes.
okay. So are we done talking about 0.20.1?
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on. I'm pretty sure there's nothing tagged we've discussed. I think there isn't. So let's get rid of that from the agenda. Oops. Proposal triage. So we haven't added anything here, but let's take a look at the board anyway. Share this tab instead. Okay, so we've currently got 9 in flight. Is there any that anybody wants to talk about at the moment? Tom, I'm going to re-review your router implementation proposal as my next task this morning. So I might have some more feedback on that.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Keith.
Anything else we want to discuss on the proposal? On the proposals? Sounds like no. So, discuss it. So let's just get rid of that. Issue. Do you want to go on to issue triage?
Yes.
Okay, so still got 69 in the queue, so we just want to work through these. Okay, record.
I noticed this was like from August 13, 2024. Are we going to make any progress on this today, or is this like, this is so old, we're obviously not very interested in it?
So what happened, I think, is some of these had release milestones on, which we went through a cleanup exercise, removed those milestones, and at the same time, the triage label was removed to prompt discussion about that. So I think the idea was that we wanted to do another sweep through these and just see if we are still committed to them or whether we should just bin the issue.
Yeah, but we could probably deprioritize doing that sweep since they'd already had evidence that they'd dropped off the radar. But yeah, I wonder if doing the newer issues in this state would be more useful.
Okay, all right. So we're
We should still
advocating
get through them all eventually, right? If we're decreasing the number.
Okay, so let's go for newest then. Okay, add snapshot artifact information to dev guide.
Yep. So like I publicized in the Slack channel, there are these snapshot dependencies. So I think we need it written down in the dev guide somewhere so that people can actually discover this stuff.
Sounds sensible to me. I've added the triage label. Is this a help wanted?
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
We're kind of lacking in first issues at the moment, I think.
It's probably not a good first issue though, is it? Because you need
True.
quite a lot of background on the project to know where to start. Okay. Investigate artifact signing.
Yeah, it's related to the snapshot publishing. In reviewing the snapshot publishing stuff today, we were talking. One of the questions was, should we GPG sign the Maven artifacts? Which is a sensible thing, I think. You know, it proves that it was built by our build tooling, but it's not very well enforced, and Central bypasses most checks for snapshots anyway. So this was a question of, what is GPG signing the releases actually helping? What's the right way to do this? Are there better tools? Go look for a better tool. Like the latest hotness is SigStore, I think, but I don't know how far what that it addresses and how far that goes either. Certainly how well integrated that is with the Maven ecosystem.
Sorry, I haven't read the issue, but so you're saying we do a signing process as part of a release at the moment because that's what Maven Central requires. Are you saying there's a problem with that or shortcoming that we need to address?
So there's a couple of wrinkles. So if we want to whenever we run the release process, somebody has to upload their GPG key as a GitHub secret to sign the release, and that's acceptable for a one-off release. It's not a tractable thing to do for every automated push to main, as we're doing with the snapshots. So from that, if you wanted to sign the snapshot builds, you would need to either have a GPG key, leave a GPG key lying around in GitHub, which is questionable for individuals' keys. The project could have its own GPG key, which things like Fedora do for releases, signing repositories, etc. But when we talked about that a couple of years ago, we got a bit of pushback on the idea of the web of trust. How do you verify and trust a project, etc.? Whose identity docs are you verifying, etc., when you say you trust this key? So there's weaknesses there as well. So it's just, the world has moved on in 2 years since we last revisited this. Are there better options? Are there alternatives that work better for an automated release pipeline? So
yeah. Just one question from me. Thanks for the background there, Sam. That makes complete sense to me. So one question. When you push snapshot artifacts to Maven Central, are they required to be signed in the same way as release artifacts? I just don't know the answer to that.
No.
Right.
Most of Central's validation is skipped if you're publishing -snapshot.
Okay, right.
For community compatibility, I think was the phrase they used. Debate at your leisure whether that's the right call or not. But
okay. So are we adding a triage label to this? I've added the investigation label.
oh yeah.
Sounds like a good idea to me that it is something that
we don't need to investigate, yes.
It's a help wanted as well. It's not. Do we have a build tooling label or a GitHub Actions type thing?
We've got GitHub Actions, but it doesn't feel like it's a it's an action.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, it is about automating the GitHub release and signing things as they go, validating.
Okay. Docs, document operator infrastructure, annotation, concepts and procedures.
Yep, this is just a follow-on from getting this lingering pull request merged to let people set annotations on their services and routes through the Kafka proxy ingress. So this is adding the docs for it separately. There's a pull request.
So is this something you're already working on, Rob?
Yep.
Okay, so let's assign you to this. This presumably is going to go as part of this release. Yeah, or...
Yep.
Good. All right. Okay, next one. Raised by me, originally noticed by Mr. Young. This is just flagging the fact we've got one of our production packages is in the wrong package hierarchy. So it's a bit of cleanup required. Add the triaged, and I will add a help wanted label. It's probably good first issue as well. Okay, list of Maven module names in work with. I should say within. Workflows as a maintenance burden. So I raised this a couple of days ago. Some work that Sam was doing prompted me to realize that we've got kind of like growing lists of project lists scattered across our workflows that is making they're a bit fragile. If you add a module, things get missed. If you've got workflows which are used against older branches, the workflow then fails against that older branch because a module isn't there. So it's all a bit of a mess at the moment. So I raised this issue with the intention of looking for a better solution that's less fragile. I haven't got a solution. It just needs investigation.
Yeah, definitely. This one's low hanging. So I say low hanging razor blades, but that's really mixing my metaphors too much.
I'm going to add help wanted. It's definitely not a good first issue because it's really into the weeds.
Yes.
Okay.
No, this is actually the same issue. We should just close this as a duplicate of that one. Yeah.
I haven't got the number to close this one.
That's it. Yeah. I'll close it in the morning then, or after this call.
Okay. Okay, next one. First of a couple of CipherTrust ones. This is just an issue to track the need to add documentation for CipherTrust KMS. The thing that needs a little bit of research here is how to achieve least privilege for the service account, which is used by record encryption. And Marcus is triage, and it's already on the board. Add KMS documentation. Why did not disappear? Add domain support. So with CipherTrust, CipherTrust has a concept of domains, which are basically its way of achieving multi-tenancy. So you can have keys in separate tenants. It might be a feature that somebody who is using record encryption with CipherTrust wishes to use. So this is a task just to add support for that. I noticed whilst writing this issue up that CipherTrust Manager Community Edition actually excludes support for domains. So actually testing this end to end will be slightly tricky given what we have available to us in the upstream. However, it is just an extra flag an extra string that you pass when you log in to get admitted to that domain. So it should be possible to reason about its correctness. I'm going to add triage unless there are comments.
Go for it.
This could be a hot wanted as well.
Good first. I suppose the lack of testing.
Yeah. Right then. Client certificates of authentication for Cipher Trust. So this is the best practice, best practice recommendation for service account type use cases against Cipher Trust is to use client auth. So this is to add client auth authentication to the Cipher Trust implementation. So users will be able to take advantage of that. Admit. Oh, this one is just closed.
Yeah, sorry. Should have closed it earlier when I merged the branch.
Over Egan connection closed with Act 0.
I'm trying to remember what this is about.
We need Claude on the call.
This is about if the proxy is doing some async work on a 0x produce request and the client closes the connection, we just shut everything down and don't try and deliver it to the upstream in the best
Right,
kind
yes.
of fashion.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah.
So they're already
Right.
using the worst possible guarantee with 0x, but we could probably help them out a little more by flushing it before we shut down all the connections.
Right. Does sound sensible.
Yeah, we've not really got an excuse for not trying to deliver the message,
Yes.
even though X equals 0 means, yeah, no guarantees at all. But
So we're adding a triage label because we think it sounds reasonable. Any other labels I want to add to this? Probably not.
Act Zero's the only one where it's kind of meaningful, I think, but it affects. You could argue we should flush everything towards the broker and everything towards the client on any teardown as well. So, you know, it's like effectively it's connection draining. That's why the draining semantics on any teardown rather than just as part of reload. But
If the client's already closed the connection, then there's no way to flush things towards the client.
no, if the client's disconnected, we can't flush towards the client, but we can still flush anything it had sent to us towards the broker.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If the broker's torn down for whatever reason, we should flush anything we've got in flight back to the client on the reply path. So yeah, it's still all best efforts, but
Yeah. Okay, so I think this is just on the backlog, isn't it? Okay, remove nullables from filter factory.
Yeah, this was just a small piece of tech that picked up during some review that there's some nullibles
this is
inside internal classes that, yeah,
Zero
we could protect from
factoring,
those further out.
triaged. So help wanted. And probably good first issue.
yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's-
mechanical annotation cleanup.
Okay. Virtual cluster model assembles its pipeline contributions piecemeal. Sam.
Oh, what was I doing? I was noodling around something and realized that the way we're building the relationship between the Kafka proxy initializer and the filter chain factory and the virtual cluster model is all a bit weird. It kind of asks for some filters from some places, some filters from other places, then puts them together in an order that's not really, doesn't feel like it should be the initiator's, the front-end handler's job to be ordering filters like that. They should be able to ask like the model for, give me all your filters, or something like that. It's the behavior's in the wrong place, I think. And I think it kind of plays into it's one of these background tech debt things that bites a bit more for routing when we start wanting more filter chains in more places. And
yeah, I think this code just kind of grew organically right at the outset of a project and probably hasn't been touched since then. And
there's been a few tactical fixes.
Yes.
And yeah, I had a quick stab at refactoring before I pulled out this issue, and it's, oh, actually, no, there were some subtle ordering concerns in here. You can't just ask the model for all the filters, etc. So, yes.
Okay. I know, just, oh, I didn't have triage, anyway. Oh.
Right. Yeah, so the system tests depend on test frame from Scott job, which has been archived and replaced. I think it's an API compatible move. It's just a change of Maven coordinates, at least initially, but we're stuck on the old archived one and not on the new one, so we should move. I think that's also a candidate for good first issue. I think it's just a Gav move.
Thanks.
Don't ask me why I found that one. I cannot remember.
Okay. Flaky test. We said we just add triage labels to these as we go, as they're raised. So I forgot to add that label.
There's a template. There's a template when you create issue through the UI, but I guess it doesn't help if you're plotting one up.
Yes, and I have been asking Claude to do these things. Normally, it does seem to find the template, but maybe it didn't in that case. Okay, website support. Future dated blog posts without breaking site builds. Sam.
Yeah, so when I was writing up the two posts talking about benchmarking, I was trying to write them together as a series, so they made sense together. But there was no way to merge a PR containing the second blog post in the future and get sensible answers. So we need to figure out, so it feels like something we should be able to usefully do.
Yeah, it was a bit particular to that because you were trying to reference it from the one that was released earlier. So it would fail until you reach the release date of the second one.
Yes.
Are we?
Yeah.
I hear the problem you're describing here. Is it realistic where we're actually going to find the bandwidth to pick this up? Is it something we're going to care about sufficiently to spend the time on it?
Possibly not. It stung when I was writing the second. So I merged the first post and then tried to have a PR that referenced the second post, updating the links from the first. And that couldn't build on GitHub at all until that future date. But we can't run the build process with --future. I don't know. It's, if I trip over it again, I might just fix it. But
okay, so what's the consensus here? Do we want to keep this issue, or shall we just close it?
it doesn't pass this important enough sniff test. Close it.
So I'm very conscious of time now, so I think we're hitting the scheduled end of the meeting. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up today? Either from the core team or from upstream contributors?
I think we should just celebrate the fact that the routing API proposal was merged today. That's been a hell of a lot of work across a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Thank you to everybody for all their efforts.
Completely agree.
Yeah, and Tom definitely deserves his holiday. On that note,
has been said. So
on that note, let's close the call.
Let's call with celebration, exactly. Thanks everyone
Yes.
for attending today. Look forward to seeing you again soon.
Cheers, folks.
Thanks,
Bye.
Keith.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Bye.